Hello, good morning, folks. How are you guys doing today? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me loud and clear, and then we will start. The weather is getting very cold here, like 2-3 days. Last week it was really warm, like summer, getting 30 degrees. Now it's getting like 10. What's happening with weather? It's changing so much, right? Anyway, I'm staying home, so who cares? I'm not working. So when I was working, it was very hard for me to wake up and go to work in this cold. It's getting 10. Next month I think it will reach 5 degree, and after that negative. So yeah, winter is coming. Anyway, I'm looking at Dow on weekly chart. Today we have FOMC meeting, folks, at 2 o'clock. So I'll only be tape reading with you all till 10, 9:20 to 9:40 macro, and then 9:50 to 10:10. These two macro, that's what interests me. If I don't see anything, that's it. I'm gonna close my day here. Okay, so I'm looking at weekly chart on Dow Jones YM1. So we have a inversion here. Price went below, right, a couple of weeks ago, and that's where the market structure shift happened. Okay, so we have breakers here, plus we have a fair value gap. We are trading inside this fair value gap. We have a low here where price will be sensitive, and this is what I'm considering from the weekly chart as my main PD area. Okay, this breaker, these down close candles, and then this fair value gap, right? Price just hit this breaker, trading inside this fair value gap. So this is on weekly chart, folks. So for price to get rejected, it may weak this week or the next week or the week after that. Look here. Okay, once price closed the candle body below the inversion, did it got rejected like immediately as soon as price hit it? No, it went up, right? Just as we see on the lower time frames, it did the manipulation. So when price does that, people changes their bias. Price just went up, hit this order block, and then went lower. So I have logic for price where to reach, where to do the manipulation. This gray shaded box, On the daily chart, you guys can see that we have an inversion here. So when we have inversion like this, I consider it as a high probability setup. Inversions like this are very powerful. You can see that price hit this inversion, went up, then closed the candle's body below. So price already got support from it. Now I can expect to see price retesting this area and getting rejection or resistance towards sell side liquidity. That's what I'm expecting to see. And on 4-hour chart, if I zoom in a little bit more, you can see that we have this swing high here, right? Candles lower to it, this candle and this candle, so this becomes a swing high, and I want to see price trading higher, going above this swing high. That's what I'm expecting to see. Price got support from this order block. That's the main logic behind me calling price higher today, going above this swing high. And from the weekly chart, we know that our bias on weekly chart is bearish, but we are expecting to see a little bit manipulation, just like the manipulation happened here. Price didn't just reject it from this inversion as soon as it hit it, right? So I'm not expecting to see a immediate rejection. Rather, price may consolidate inside this area, but on long-term basis, I'm expecting bearish price action. But on daily chart, I'm expecting to see a bullish price action until we are clearing out this buy side liquidity and then hitting this inversion from the daily chart that I showed you all. Okay, we have a small fair value gap here, but I think price will close this candle here today without feeling this fair value gap, and the next or the day after we can expect to see price feeling it. Otherwise, if price is clearing these levels out, this swing high before feeling this fair value gap, we can use this fair value gap as an inversion. When price comes down, if price is going below this inversion, we can wait for price to retest this inversion and get resistance towards sell side. Okay, so there are logic, folks. It's not just I'm looking at chart and randomly I'm watching this swing high and I'm calling market. No, there are logic behind it, but we will see if the logic is working or not. 4-hour chart, nothing special. The daily fair value gap is not visible on 4-hour chart. Rather, we have an order block here, right? And we have this down close candle before this move towards buy side liquidity. There's a stop hunt here, so this is a breaker, this last down close candle that you guys can see. So if price is coming down and retesting this area, I'll be looking for setup inside here. Once price does that, if price is not coming down, then still I'll be tape reading. So we had this low here. It's visible on hourly chart. Price generated relative equal lows during Asian session and exactly at London session 2 o'clock. Before the London session, price cleared this level out and had a run towards buy side liquidity. This is our 8:30 delivery on 15-minute chart. It makes more sense. Yes, on 15-minute chart, as you can see, this black line is our breaker from the 4-hour chart. Let me mark it here. Breaker. So that's a bullish breaker. So we have our breaker here. Now that I'm on 15-minute chart, you guys can see the breaker formation is very clear. Price generated a higher high, swing high, then went lower, right? Cleared out the sell side liquidity. So lower low, new lower low. These up close candles are working here as our breaker, and as you can see, at 8:30 price dropped down, hit this breaker, went up. We had a fair value gap here. So if you had like no logic from the higher time frame, you would be like, okay, now the price went below this fair inversion, I'm looking for lower prices. No, it's not happening like this. you have to have a higher time frame narrative. Higher time frame order flow is greater than the lower time frame delivery. Always remember that, folks. So we have our breaker here, price is getting support from it. We know that we have targets from the higher time frame. This black line is our higher time frame buy side liquidity, but on lower time frame we can see that we have another buy side liquidity. So I'm not expecting to see price using this week or this week as a rejection block, rather expanding higher. Okay, if it's using it as a rejection block, then I want to see price generating relative equal lows and at 9:30 clearing that out and pushing higher. Buy side liquidity. So I'm watching this buy side liquidity. This is what I believe price will tap into. But hey, we have FOMC meeting, right? So I'll be a little bit more careful. This 15-minute inversion will work as a good support area, so I'll be marking it. Inversion from 15-minute chart. Right, that's a very good support, guys. Like price came down, right, when closed this candle's body above this inversion, then came down, hit this inversion and went up. So on 1 minute chart there was a lot of setup from this drop, from this retest of this inversion from the 15-minute chart. Now let's drop down to 1 minute. And let's divide our chart. This is our breaker from the 4-hour chart with 15-minute inversion. So from the daily chart, you guys can see we are very near to this swing high. So I'm not changing my bias just because of this drop here, right? We can clearly see that price generated higher high, new higher high. Then this we can consider as a breaker, but I won't. I'll rather wait and see if price is getting support towards buy side liquidity. As I told you guys that this is what I am expecting to see price delivering to, this buy side liquidity up here. Okay, so we can clearly see that price is coming back to this inversion again. We have these order blocks, we have this. Price did stop hunting both sides, so we have a low here, high here. Price cleared this high, cleared this low. Now let's wait, folks. We are far from getting inside our macro, right? It's starting at 9:20 to 9:40, so we still have 10 minutes. We'll let price do what it's doing. Okay, we don't care about that. Our higher time frame narrative is supporting price towards buy side liquidity, so we'll wait until price gets inside our macro zone, and after that we'll see what happens. So we have down close candles here on 50-minute chart. Look at the higher time frame, folks. So as long as price is staying above, not going below these two down close candles, I believe we will deliver higher. If price is going lower, closing a candle's body below these two down close candles, then that's when my bias will change, okay, for the day, for the session, towards sell side liquidity. But these are gonna be working here as a breaker From the 15-minute chart, we have low here, price cleared these lows with this candle. So these down close candles becomes our breaker block. Price went above closing candles body, above this breaker, so these breakers are activated. Now I'll be waiting and watching the mean threshold of these order blocks, breaker blocks. So the mean threshold is coming here, right on 1 minute chart. You can see that is near to this low. So anything above 0.5 is premium, anything below the 0.5 is discount. Just as we use our fib level, it's the same, but here we have two extra levels, 0.75, 0.25. These are the levels where price is sensitive. It just taps into here, then shows rejection. Like look at here, where did price stop? Exactly at the 0.5 level. Look at the precision, folks. There's a robot, there's an algorithm behind this price delivery, so that will seek precision. And as you can see, 0.75 level, this is the premium. Price hit it. This is where this candle closed, made a week, right? So let's see what price does. If price is going below the premium and hitting the discount, I'll look for setup. I'll still look for setup. We have a relative equal lows down here, so let's see what price does here. The relative equal lows, if price is coming down and clearing these levels out, this would interest me. If it's doing that inside 920, inside that period, if price is coming down and clearing these swing lows, and if price is going above these down close candles, I'll be looking for a setup. Until then, I'll be waiting. I like to see price generating relative equal highs here, but I don't see it. We still have time. Let's see if price generates relative equal high and leaves it untouched. If it does that, as soon as price clears these relative equal lows out, I can execute with confidence. But I don't see any target other than this and this swing high, and then this swing high. Then we have from the daily chart this swing high, right? So we'll see. The expansion may not be happening at AM session today, rather it may happen at FOMC. As we know, before high impact news, price generates liquidity, and at high impact news, price likes to clear it out. It's not choppy. This is the way price delivers. To me, it's not choppy. It's the usual price behavior. But we'll see if our logic is working. Price went below this 15-minute inversion. This is the inversion that I'm watching from the 15-minute chart. I don't know if you guys can see it clearly, the 15-minute chart here, but we have an inversion. I'm watching this. Price closed the candles body below the inversion. This is a good pattern, right? Price closed the candles body below the inversion. So if I was like holding no bias today and there was like no FOMC setup, I would execute here as price retested this low or left this fair value gap unfilled. I'll wait for price to come back here and see how price reacts inside this fair value gap. Why this fair value gap is so significant? Because it's aligned with this inversion from the 50-minute chart, plus it's also working with breaker here, higher high, new higher high. So these down close candles are becoming breaker. So breaker with a fair value gap, we know that that's a pattern that puts odds in our favor, right? So I'll wait and see what price does. Price came down and hit our relative equal lows here. So that's what I told you guys, that I want to see price clearing these levels out, but still no setup. Still we are not inside our macro level. So I prefer to wait. Meanwhile, let's see what's dollar doing. Dollar. This is a chart that I rarely talk about. So dollar overnight showed a very good reaction. We had this BPR here. Price came up, hit this BPR, and now it's going down. We have an inversion from, I believe, from the daily chart. Yes, from the daily chart we have an inversion here. So on 50-minute chart, you guys can see price closed the candle body below this inversion, and we have a fair value gap here. So as long as price is staying below this fair value gap and then these down close candles here on 50-minute chart, I would like to see dollar deliver towards sell side liquidity, something like this. Okay, if price is doing this, then what can we expect on Dow? Higher prices, right? So dollar basically supporting our analysis from Dow. So we'll wait and see how Dow delivers. So this candle, now that this candle on dollar is delivering towards sell side, if it's expanding lower, I would like to see price stopping here. Okay, as soon as this candle goes below, if it's going below here, I would like to see price getting rejection from this rejection block. Okay, not going lower. If it's going lower, then probably it will just leave this fair value gap unfilled. So what I would like to see price stopping here, then retracing towards buy side liquidity at 9:30, hitting it and going down. So if that's what's happening, like at 9:30 price delivering towards sell side on dollar, then we can expect to see Dow delivering towards buy side. Which higher time frame do you use mainly? I use daily, weekly, then 4 hour, 1 hour. I just showed you guys, right? When I started my stream, I walked you guys on the higher time frames analysis, right? So look here, price generated relative equal highs. That's what I want to see. Let's see how if price is going below, and as I told you guys that if price is going below these two down close candles, it will change my bias for the session. So let's see, we have a week here, big week on 15-minute chart. I'll measure this week, and I'll mark the consequent encroachment of this big week. So this is where our consequent encroachment is aligned with the 4 hour breaker. So price generated relative equal lows here. I believe it will deliver towards sell side liquidity, but hey, we'll see. We'll see. Price is getting inside our macro 920, and we have a very nice setup here. Should I take it or tape read it? That's a question, right? We have this inversion from the higher time frame. Price closing candle body below the inversion, so the change of delivery happened. Then we have this breaker, fair value gap, this low right here. So if I was taking this setup, I would put my stop loss here above this up close candle. We are inside our macro, folks. 920 to 940. That's when my high probability setup forms. Yes, I solely trade Dow. Mostly, you guys will also see me trading on Nasdaq, but mostly Dow. If you look at Nasdaq generated relative equal highs. Relative equal highs on NQ. Let me show it to you all. So on 1 minute chart, look at that. I'll be watching these relative equal highs. Relative equal highs here, price cleared this low, generated relative equal lows. So not the cleanest price action that I would like to see, but there is target. These relative equal highs. Mentor just tweeted. What did he tweet? Let me see. So I'll be watching this high here. this is relative equal highs, then this low. So what I would like to see, price coming down, clearing this level, hitting this fair value gap, then going up something like this on Nasdaq as we are approaching towards 9:30. But hey, we have FOMC today, so we may not get the way of volatility that we see at 9:30 usually. But hey, we are tape reading, right? We know what to avoid, when to avoid, so we'll be safe. So we have a relative equal low here. So I'm expecting to see price clearing it out on Nasdaq, hitting this fair value gap, and then going towards buy side liquidity. It's not a signal, folks, but that's what I would like to see. So if that's happening, and if Nasdaq and Dow are moving together, this relative equal low may be working as a support, as a manipulation, just to send price higher. So here I can see price delivering both sides. I'll just wait. So he tweeted, if you are trying to trade in this, you are gambling and begging to lose your money. Mentor, we know that from you, so we are not trying to force any setup, but tape read what's happening, right? We need experience. We need to know when should we avoid like trading. So if I'm not tape reading here and just sleeping, doing my own thing, then I will not know what price did here, right? My experience will be zero. And once this price action repeats inside my trading days when I'm supposed to trade, I won't be able to recognize this price action. But now that I'm tape reading, suppose I'm supposed to trade tomorrow and this same price action is repeating tomorrow. So what I will do, I'll just avoid this day, because I have experience from today that when this price action is happening, I mostly lose. Or price does manipulation, price goes lower. I may be correct, but price will do more manipulation. So I rather do tape reading, right? That's how experience serves you. So we'll be building experience here rather than forcing any setup. So this low is still intact. I would like to see this low is getting cleared before we expand higher. And Nasdaq, yeah, not the cleanest price action for me to push button. Where is face cam? I'm still thinking about it, folks. Like, face cam, it will like do nothing other than making my stream look a little bit more professional. In terms of sharing knowledge, I'm already doing it. So I really need the confidence to put this face cam. I already bought the camera and the setup, so everything is done. I just need to turn it on, but hey, I'm confused. I may be doing it later, but we'll see. We'll see. As long as it's working without a face cam, I'm not putting it there. Like, watching my face will do nothing to you, right? You can just see my reactions, and if I don't turn on the face cam, I can be a little bit more relieved. You know what I'm saying? Like, when like 300 400 people watching you, even if you are touching your nose, that will be like, okay, what's he doing, right? But that's the usual behavior, that you can't do it in front of so many people. So these are the things, but we'll see. We have this relative equal lows. Let's see what price does here, folks. Like, I want to see these relative equal lows getting taken out. Could share the schedule and timing of your bootcamp. Need to plan my days, please. So the folks who are inside my bootcamp, the first stream will be on 20th October morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The day 2 will be on 24th October, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The day 3, which will be based on turtle soup, it will be on 28th October, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are not there, it's okay. Every session will be recorded. So now that price is going above, right? I want to see how it reacts from this fair value gap. We have these relative equal lows. I wanted to see price clearing this level out before expanding higher, but now the price left it unfilled. What I would like to see, if there's no manipulation, something like this. But hey, we are not trading it, rather tape reading, so we have the freedom to let price do what it's doing, right? So let's see what happens. That's what I'm expecting to see. I hope you guys know the logic, because price left this relative equal lows unfilled. Why am I not taking this setup? Because our higher time frame narrative is different. Higher time frame narrative is not aligning with lower time frame delivery. I want to see price moving higher from the higher time frame basis, but on lower time frame, price generates relative equal lows, and when price does that and price is near to it, I don't take those setups. I rather wait and watch. So price is retesting this inversion. This fair value gap became an inversion now. So let's see if it's retesting it to go higher or going lower. We have our setup here. This I can consider it as high probability setup, so that's why I'm not taking anything. Higher high, new higher high, breaker. You guys heard me mentioning about these down close candles long before price came up, right? So price and relative equal highs didn't basically hit it, but hey, it's enough. It filled the fair value gap from here. Breaker. This is our CB, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So let's see, 928. We still have 3 minutes before the drop, before the volatility comes in. Could you tell me macro times that you will trade in, please? I already tell the people who are inside my bootcamp all the macros and everything, like how a setup forms, what I expect to see, like here, right? I'm not expecting to push the button, but I'm expecting to tape read it, gain my experience. So how can I do that? If you are trying to figure that out by yourself, it will take a long time, just like it did for me, 2 years, 1 year. But if you are coming inside my bootcamp, I'll share what I discovered in 2 years. Okay, what did I had to do, what were the things that I have to avoid. If you are figuring it out by yourself, it will take a long time, but if you are taking my experience and mixing it with your own experience, I think it will work as a high probability, right? So yeah, that's what I will do in my 3-day bootcamp. It's not a course, folks, so but it will be what models that I trade, what models help me to quit my job. So yeah, 929 and let's see, 930. I'm expecting to see lower prices because relative equal lows here, folks, right? We know that it works as a magnet for price. So now that you guys can see price is delivering lower, right? Do you guys understand the logic behind it? Why did I change my bias here? Right, I was expecting higher prices, but why I changed my bias here and expected price going lower? Why? Because of these relative equal lows. Now look at the delivery from 930. Let's see if it's expand lower and hit this 4-hour breaker block. Anyway, our target is met. We were expecting to see price clearing this level out. These relative equal lows, price did that. Now we will wait and see the 930 delivery. So I would like to see price expanding higher from this inversion. This breaker, I will be not watching this, so rather price action like this. So NQ cleared out our buy side liquidity that I shared with you all, but it didn't hit this fair value gap. That's what I was expecting to see, but it did cleared out the DOL, drawn liquidity, that I gave you all, right? So price is retesting this inversion again. I would like to see is going higher from here. Go higher, baby. So that's a beautiful support from this inversion, right? We have our breaker here, lower low, new lower low. So these up close candles working as a breaker. Price retested this inversion beautifully, folks. Look at that, how I'm calling market. So I still want to see price expanding higher. Price scenario relative equal highs now. So these two highs are relatively equal. I would like to see it expanding higher. I'd like to see it expanding higher and clearing out this buy side liquidity. Yes, price at SMT here on Dow. You guys can see price cleared this level out, but on NQ price didn't. So that's SMT, right? Duke, best model to quit your job is blow up on YouTube and get monetized. Lol, that usually outperforms trading for most people when they get there. Yeah, but most can't. You can't. Duke, what I'm doing here, I'm not blowing up my account, but even the similar stuff, you won't be able to do it. Anyway, price is coming down, hitting this breaker. I would like to see it remaining or getting support from this breaker. We have a fair value gap plus an inversion. If this is not holding price, then yeah, that's what the manipulation I was talking about. There are days that we don't trade, and today is one of those days. We have FOMC, so no push of a button before FOMC. After 2 o'clock we can look for a setup, right? Before that we will just tape read, and if the setup is there and if price is delivering the way we want to see, we will not just be like, oh my god, I missed the setup. The same setup, the same pattern, same logic will keep repeating, folks. Okay, the retail traders, they look for patterns. We look for patterns, but with aligned with the higher time frame delivery, right? So we are different than them. So we had a breaker, then this inversion from the higher time frame, then this inversion again here. So that's a very good level for price to get support, right? And it did showed a good support from this breaker. I'll mark this breaker here. So these two up close candle, I'll consider it as a breaker. That's a bullish breaker. Look at the delivery here. If I just put the inversion level out, inversion, the 50-minute inversion that I was watching, it's a good level for me to get confirmation from price. Okay, price respected this inversion before on lower time frame. So on lower time frame, again and again and again, this inversion will get respected until price goes below the inversion and generates another inversion. Okay, so not the cleanest price action, as I told you guys. That's why I'm avoiding trading today before FOMC. Look at the delivery here. As soon as price retested this breaker, I would like to see like price delivering towards buy side aggressively, not doing things like this, but here, as you can see, is expanding lower. So I will continue to taper it with you all. Before high impact news, folks. So price will always generate liquidity to get it taken out at high impact news. Okay, so we are trading before the high impact news. We are watching price before the high impact news, so this is allowed. Okay, it's not something that we are expecting. We are here to taper it, not look for a setup before the high impact news. Is that equal low at 33,981 on Dow? 33,981. Relative equal lows, yes, it's there, aligned with our 4-hour breaker. If I show you guys the 4-hour chart, we have a breaker here. Very small, but it's there. This is what I marked as a 4-hour breaker, because there's a stop hunt on lower time frame below these lows. There are a couple of models. Dale, yeah, it's gonna be very exciting even for me. There are things that I'll be sharing that I never talked publicly, like time distortion inside a breaker block. Then there's like a reclaimed breaker that I never talked about. There are inversion inside breaker that I use as a high probability. So a lot. Okay, I'll be sharing everything, every way a breaker can form. Okay, you can expect to see me like doing choppy breakers, showing you the choppy breakers, then showing you the cleanest breakers and what to expect from them, price to do before, what price will do before a breaker gets formed, what you will be expecting to see. So there will be a lot of stuff. It's not just gonna be a random. I'll be talking about breaker, what ICT already shared with us, like higher high, higher low, then that's a breaker. I will not only be sharing that, but every possible breaker models. There's a lot inside breaker, folks, like how to use breaker with standard deviation and projecting price, all that good stuff, right? So look at the choppiness here. So if what I do basically with my macros is that if price is not presenting me a setup, suppose now I'm trading 920 to 940 macro, right? So there was no clean setup, right? Price was hitting this breaker, then it just delivering here, consolidating inside this range, inside this trailing range. So when price does that, I avoid one macro, then wait for another macro to start. So our next macro is 950 to 1010. If price is not doing anything inside it, then there's another macro 1020 to 1040 inside the silver bullet period. So I'll also be talking about breaker block and silver bullet with it. So there are 2 silver bullets in AM session. So I narrowed the time. It's not just we look for a breaker to form inside 1 hour, rather 20 minutes, inside a 20-minute period inside the silver bullet. So silver bullet is formed 10 to 11 AM Eastern Standard Time, right? So I'll be looking at 1020 to 1040 inside that period. If price is gonna be presenting me a setup, then it will happen inside there. If my setup is not there, then I'll not be expecting for price to present me a setup after 1040. I'll wait 10 minutes, then there's another macro 1050 to 1110. So there's a lot of things, folks. Like, I don't worry about a missing trade. I always know that I have the skill, so this skill will always provide me what I'm looking for. So price generated relative equal lows here again. Now it's expanding higher. Probably it's a SMT. Is it a SMT with Nasdaq? It's not. It's not. Nasdaq is just chopping. ES generated the same relative equal lows, so it's not a SMT. I would like to see price clearing this level out, hitting this breaker, and then possibly expanding higher at 950. SMT with NQ, there's no SMT. It's just a relative equal low, Duke, and I would like to see this relative equal low getting taken out at 950 or near to that time period. Okay, price generated enough buy side liquidity. Look how price is generating buy side liquidity as a form of relative equal highs, right? Relative equal highs, more like a trend line liquidity. If I put a trend line here, You guys can see price is respecting this trend line very beautifully, right? So price is generating liquidity constantly. We already know it before a high impact news price does that. It's normal. Then we have relative equal highs here. From higher time frame, we have relative equal highs again. So on long term basis, I told you guys that my bias is bullish on long term basis. But inside macro, my bias changes. Okay, like suppose price generates liquidity, so I'll be looking for their liquidity as I'm trading on 1 minute. On 1 minute chart, price can go lower and then it can still push higher for the day. But when it's go lower, I can still take that trade. It doesn't mean that I'm changing my bias, but it means that I'm aligning my trade idea with lower time frame delivery. So do you guys know how to do that? If you don't, then yeah, I'll be talking a lot more about this in my bootcamp, 3-day bootcamp. Just chopping inside this inversion. Do you guys see why this inversion is so important to me now? Price is trading inside this inversion, not going above it, not closing, like anything below it. Price is just doing a stop and then coming up. So this relative equal lows, price cleared it out, right? I wanted to see a little bit more drop, like hitting this breaker exactly to the tick, the body of this breaker from the 4-hour chart, and then expanding higher. So this candle on 4-hour chart will close in 17 minutes. So the next candle, suppose if this candle is closing in a consolidation, I would like to see the next candle that will open on 4-hour chart, retesting this breaker, possibly this fair value gap here. We have a fair value gap right here, and then expanding higher from here. So that's the scenario for me to expect at FOMC, but we will see. There is a breaker. What are you saying? There is a breaker in NQ to go down. Yeah, NQ has relative equal lows, folks. Like relative equal lows, these are very clean. And NQ has a breaker. It does on 1 minute chart at 15,366. 25 on ES. You guys can see higher highs. Sorry, equal highs. So it's not the cleanest price action for me to trade. I'll still be tape reading. Do you think NQ and ES are gonna break ATH? And in that case, yes, why? What is ATH? Adolfo, I don't use ATH, brother, so I don't know anything about it. Sorry, at 9 a.m. breaker, not 8 a.m. So you're talking about 9 a.m. Do you consider the breaker at around 8 a.m. as a failed breaker to send the price down, as the price went back past half of that breaker? 8 o'clock breaker. I think you were talking about Dow, right, Pat? So if you were talking about Dow, I don't consider this as a breaker. If you're watching this, it's just a consolidation phase. Price is the manipulation, expansion towards buy side. So that's what happened here, AMD cycle. And now it's just chopping around. Look at the choppiness, folks. So I avoided pushing button at 9:30. Do you guys see the logic behind it? Yes, that's how my experience starts. I know price will do something like this. I was expecting to see behavior like this, like a choppy delivery, seek and destroy, more like a seek and destroy. So that's what tape reading does to you, okay? It gives you experience. In return, it gives you the freedom to look at these candles and see like if it's gonna deliver clean or do choppiness, more like seek and destroy, right? HYDRA, a humble request, please buy a new mic. Your voice is quite low. Hope that won't be a problem for upcoming workshop. Other YouTube live streams are fine, but yours quite low. Thanks. It's quite low? Really? Okay, well, let me fix it. I believe now it's working good, right? Is it working good now, folks? I believe it's working good now. I just increased the gain a little bit more than I usually do. The mic is good, you know, the mic is good. It's just like the settings, and I always get confused with the settings, so yeah, there's that. Nasdaq on the other hand is looking pretty clean. Not clean, but look at the delivery here. Price did a lot more manipulation than just a clean delivery. We have a breaker here, and we just hit this fair value gap here. We have relative equal lows here, folks. Like, look at that. A lot of relative equal lows here. So I'm also watching Nasdaq. I'll keep watching that, but I'll look for setup inside Dow. These relative equal lows, I want to see it getting cleared. So I'll put a magnet here. This level is too clean to stay longer, folks. Like, look at that. It's too clean. If we are right with our narrative, like price will expand higher, then I would like to see this relative equal lows getting taken out, not like price leaving it just like it did now. $9:48, so 2 minutes before our next macro starts. So this fair value gap that I was using as an inversion from a 913, I will not use it anymore because that's a lot of choppiness that happened inside this fair value gap. This to me, sorry, inside this inversion, this to me is not valid anymore. Price did stop hunt multiple times here, like 1, 2, 3. 3-die pattern, more like a 3-die pattern here. Robert, do you ever take longer trades, 1 to 10 risk to reward? I don't. The highest that I go is like 1 to 4, 1 to 5. That's the max. Like, I'm not holding till 1 to 10. So the logic behind is I'm a very emotional person. Like, even someone is chatting here negative about me, and it's the only one person, I still reply to him because it's hard for me to control it, but hey, I try. So why I don't hold for 1 to 10 is because of that. Okay, I get emotional. I like, suppose now my mind is clean, I'm not scared of any trade. Like, if I see a setup, if I see my A plus setup, I will execute. If I don't see it, I know what to do. But if I'm holding for 1 to 10 hour, then inside me is like, okay, I think price will retrace now. Okay, that's a higher time frame level, that's a BC from higher time frame, price will get retraced from there. So I'm still not ready to hold trades for like 1 to 10, but I'm very comfortable holding a trade 1 to 2 hour, then 1 to 4 hour. Other than that, we gradually improve, right, folks? I was trading with 1 to 2 hour for like more than 2 years. Then I gradually increase my targets. So there has to be a logic for me to put my target at 10 hour. If I don't see the logic, why would I do that? most of the time as I'm trading on 1 minute chart, right, my targets are very near. Like this relative equal high is very near. So we have a volume imbalance here, folks. We have a fair value gap, then we have a breaker. These up close candles are working here as a breaker because of the stop hunt here, right? So this fair value gap I would like to see price holding. This fair value gap right here, but it's going lower, right? So what I was talking, like most of the time my target is near. If I'm only targeting like 2 hour 4 hour, I'm getting done. And if I'm getting like 4 hour, it's like a very good day to me, according like money wise. Not like 4 hour is a good day, but money wise is to me is the best day. I can close my week if I get a 4 hour once. If I'm getting like 2 hour multiple times, then yeah, that's a very good week. 4 hour I'm making more than like $2,000, so that's a lot of money to me. When I was working to make $2,000, I had to work like 3 weeks plus overtime. So if I'm just sitting here doing my thing that I like, and yeah, I'm happy with 1 to 2 hour. I'm not seeing a dream that I'll get 1 to 10 hour, I'll be rich in one day. I don't need to hold that long. If I get like $1,000, I'm good with it. You could start by leaving a runner and walk away from your PC. With practice, I'm sure you will master it. I'm very happy with 1 to 4 hour. I have no intention to hold more longer trades, but we will see. We just started, right? I'll be staying around here doing live stream with you all for eternity, so we'll see what happens in future for sure. But 1 to 4 hour, 1 to 2 hour is like less emotional, and I think I'll be staying with this rather than targeting 1 to 10. But if I'm doing like 1 to 10, I'll be taking partial. Without partial, I'll never like hold a trade for 1 to 10 hour. So if I'm taking partial, ultimately that 1 to 10 hour trade will turn out to be like 1 to 4, 1 to 5. So there's more to it, like folks. Like it's not just I'll go and target 1 to 10 hour. I'll have to be emotionally confident. I'll have to find the target. The price will reach there. I'll have to get the logic behind it. I'll have to get a setup like that. Okay, so the breaker setup that I trade it mostly gives like 1 to 2 to 1 to 4 hour. If I'm holding longer than that, I did that in my back testing. My win rate was more like 30 to 40%. That's something that I don't like when I'm holding more than 4 hour. If I'm holding like 1 to 2 hours, getting over 70%. If I'm holding like 1 to 4 hour with the breaker setups and everything, then more like 60-70%, which is very good. I'm willing to lose 40% of the time, but not more than that. 40 to 50% is good. To me, it's good. It's a very good win rate. If you are like, if you have a 50% win rate, to me it's good. To me, you have a setup that will provide you long term. So price generated relative equal highs, folks, and it left it like it just left it. So as I was saying, price generates liquidity for the high impact news, and at high impact news, price clears it out, and we are seeing a delivery to our sell side here. Nothing for me to consider as an entry. When price closed the candle body below here, we had a fair value gap, right? But price didn't retested this fair value gap again. It acted more like a breakaway gap. We have breaker here, right? So Nasdaq is expanding lower towards the target that I showed you all, these relative equal lows. We have a fair value gap here, so very good place for price to get support toward buy side liquidity from here. Price also generated relative equal highs here, and we are trading inside our macro, right? So inside macro there was a setup. So there's always a setup, folks, inside a macro. You will just have to identify it before price delivers. You have to identify it by knowing how price will deliver before generating a setup. So we have a breaker here, we have a fair value gap, but it's more like unfilled. We are hitting the higher time frame breaker though, the breaker that I was talking about. right? We have a fair value gap here on the 4-hour chart. So price just hit this breaker like to the tick. It hit the candle's body. If price is getting support from this breaker at the next candle, we are like 3 minutes away from closing this 4-hour candle. So at the next candle, I would like to see if price forms a breaker here. Okay, if price is forming a breaker when it's trading inside this 4-hour breaker. So do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? I told you guys this many times. A high probability breaker forms inside a higher time frame PD area on lower time frame. So the breaker will be forming on lower time frame inside a higher time frame PD area. So do we have a higher time frame PD area here? We have this breaker here, right? So this is our higher time frame PD area. I would like to see a breaker forming inside here. We'll wait. 9:56. So that's the time period, folks, before the FOMC. Do you guys see the logic for you to avoid trading today? If you are avoiding one day, it's not gonna affect your trading, okay? Trust me. Some people are like, okay, he's not trading today, he's not trading the day after, he's not a good trader. I only need one trade, one good trade with 1 to 2 or 1 to 4 hour, then I can be done for the week. If I'm getting like 2 to 3 trades with a good setup, then that's a very good week, right? Oh my god, there are people in my Telegram group, like some scammers. They will share the link of their Telegram groups in my public group that I have, the Breaker Block Army, the Telegram. And they will think like, okay, people will join there. What's the point, bro? Like sharing your links. If you have the skill, people will already join you, right? Oh my god, they're so dumb. Like, what's the point? Anyway, this is a fair value gap. Let's see if price is getting support from it, this fair value gap will be getting broken. But I'm not gonna be predicting anything right now as we are closing this 4-hour candle. I would like to see what price does at the next candle. The best thing that it can do is like retesting this fair value gap or retesting this breaker or forming a breaker inside this breaker on lower time frame, and then we can look for what we are predicting here. Can you advise one to start with a personal account or a funded? If you have the money, then like if you have more than $20,000 in your account, then I'll suggest you to trade with your own funds. But if you have less than that, go with a funded account, because you can blow it up very easily. 20,000 in trading, it's nothing, to be honest. Trading is not gambling. You need a strategy and repeating that strategy. Trading is gambling. The pattern that we look for, it puts the odds in our favor. Okay, it's not, I cannot guarantee you 100% in my A+ setup that this setup will turn out to be a profitable setup 100%. So if you cannot guarantee me something that will be, the outcome will be like 100%, it's a gambling to me. What we do here, we don't just go out and put money and do it in the basis of gambling. We look for a setup, we look for high probability setup that will put the odds in our favor. What do I mean by odds? So my usual win rate with this breaker block is like 60 to 80%. So, but I'm still losing 40 to 20% of the time, right? So the losing trades can come in a row. Like suppose 5 trades in a row I'm losing, or I'm winning 5 trades and then I'm losing 2, then I'm winning like 1 again, then I'm losing 2. It can come like this, right? So still there's 40% to 20% of the chance that I'll lose. So to me, it's a gambling. It just putting this setup are just putting the odds in my favor. It is still gambling, folks. Don't consider trading is not like gambling. It always will be a gambling. no one will be coming out here and telling me, okay, this setup I see here, the same thing will keep repeating in price, and every single time price will deliver the same way. Can you say that to me? No. So how can you say that it's not a gambling? What we do here, we put the odds in our favor. We follow a system. The system puts the odds in our favor. What we do, we execute flawlessly if the criteria meets. Right? If the setup is not there, if the narrative is not there, we don't push the button. So when you push without a narrative, without a setup that you have an edge on, right, you are gambling. Like 100% you are gambling. So here we are not gambling 60%, but 40% we are still there. There's a risk of gambling still 40%. So at this candle on 4 hour chart, it opened, it went lower. That's what I was telling you guys, like price can retest this breaker or this fair value gap and it can expand higher. Right, we have this relative equal high to target. So let's see if price is getting support from this breaker. So I told you guys that if price is initially getting support from this 4 hour breaker, this fair value gap, I would like to see it working as an inversion. And now it did that. We have a up close candle. I would like to see price going above it. Are we inside a macro? So that's the setup that I see, aligned with our bias, more like, yeah, so something like this is what I would like to see. I'm not gonna push button. As we know, we avoid trading inside before a high impact news. We have these up close candles here, which is working more like as a mitigation block, right? So if suppose I took this setup here, I pointed out where price will go before price retested this setup, so retested this zone, retested this mitigation block. So to me, I'll execute here. The spread will put like 1 or 2 tick above, put me 1 or 2 tick above, and my stop loss will be below here. So very tight stop loss, targeting like 2R from here. That's pretty easy, right? Price retested this 4 hour breaker. That's what giving me confidence. But hey, we're not gonna push the button here, rather than just stay pre, build our experience, because we know that this is the time when we get mostly wrong. The $1 bro, lol, selling courses. Yeah, to me that's also a skill, right? Like we all come here to make money. So if someone is making money by selling courses, he has a really good skill. He may not have a trading skill, but hey, he's good in selling. And trust me, people make more from selling than trading. Okay, it's a fast money if you are selling something. Did you guys watch the movie the Wolf of the Wall Street? Wolf of the Wall Street. It's on Netflix. I think you guys watched it, right? It's a very famous movie. So I'm reading the John Belford book about the way of the wolf. So there he talked about a lot of things, right? It's all based on selling. And our mentor himself told us, right, he is the goat of trading. Like he invented everything and all that. Even if he didn't invent it, he's still smarter than you and me and everyone in this trading industry, right? He told us that he made more from selling mentorship than trading. Selling mentorship is a fast money, folks. Trust me, it's like overnight you can be rich. So yeah. To me, I like those people who sell courses, because they have a skill that you and me, we don't have. We cannot sell, we cannot lie in front of someone and like sell it, but they can do that. They can constantly lie in front of you live when they are training you. They have that skill to manipulate you, and you'll be thinking like, okay, this man is so like profitable. If I buy his expensive course with $1,000, I'll be profitable. But the truth is, with no one's course, you can be profitable. You just have to put your own work, right? So as you can see, price retested this breaker. I would like to see price expanding higher from here, not going below my stop loss that was below this breaker. Sorry, below this mitigation block. I'll trail it. I'll put it just below the last top close candle here. Okay, right here. So let's see, targeting here from here to R is not that far, right? We are still trading inside our macro, so that's what giving me confidence calling market like this. We have higher high here, and as you can see, we are seeing speed here. Do not scratch the itch. It's the truth. You cannot avoid it. The truth, getting fast money by selling courses. So you support manipulation. I support their skill, not that I'm supporting what they are lying about. Okay? If you have the money to buy someone's course and you are deciding by yourself, then what's the point of me interfering in between you and the people who is selling? It's dumb, right? Suppose you are going to market buying a pen. You already have a lot of pen, but you still want a pen. You have the money to waste. So if you are buying it, if I'm telling you not to buy, I'll look dumb, right? So it's just like that, folks. When people are complaining about someone's courses, selling courses, it's just dumb to me. Like, he's doing something you cannot do. If you are profitable than him, then just come live and do it. Prove it. What's the like talk about? If you can't do what he's doing, then what's the negativity all about? So we have a fair value gap here with these order blocks. So that's a high probability setup. If I was in this trade, I would pyramid here inside this fair value gap with this breaker, with this mitigation block right here. So there are a couple of things, right? I trail my stop loss here. Now their price generated a fair value gap. I'll trail my stop loss below these order blocks. So now if price is going below this order block, that means what? Is it not respecting its change of delivery? The change of delivery happened here once price went above these last up close candles. How are you trading today? What, you joined right now, Mike? I'm not trading today. Could you explain why you are not bearish on NQ? Go back in my live stream. When I started the live stream, I shared my higher time frame narrative, so go back and hear it. You will see why I'm expecting higher prices, not lower. So price generated relative equal highs again. So do you guys see now why even after seeing a plus setup, I didn't execute it? Because of this, the manipulation, the choppiness that price does before a high impact news. So you want to trade inside this when price will generate emotion inside you rather than generating money, right? We are here for money, not generating emotion inside us. Here price is doing this. So our stop loss is still staying in below this order block, and I think price will go below it. Could you explain why you are not I already did that. Making money in trading is also about capital, not just skills. It's always about skill, folks. Like, yeah, if you have the money, it will just give you a little bit comfort. But if you don't have the money, you can still be profitable. Like me, I was working a full-time job, right? But I was still pursuing my dream. How I was doing it, I had to be unique from everyone else in my work, at my work. So the folks who are still working, you think it's gonna be easy for you? It's not. I was working, so I'll tell you guys the schedule, okay? Price is doing manipulation. I have no interest to watch it. I was working from 3 to 11, so I was leaving for home like at 1:30. I was starting my shift at 3 o'clock, 8-hour shift. So ending at 11. For me to come back, it takes like 1 hour 30 minutes. So I was coming back home at 12:30. By 1:30, I'm going to bed. Okay, I'm sleeping no matter what, because I'll have to wake up early. I was waking up early, 8 o'clock every single day, to make my dream come true. It doesn't matter how tired I am, I will still have to wake up. So when I finally started making money, enough money for me to quit my job, right? I was talking with my girlfriend and she was like, I don't remember you not waking up a single day in last 2 years at 8 o'clock. So it became like a habit. Even without alarm, I get wake up right now, like at 8 o'clock. I don't need an alarm to wake up at 8. Even if I'm still sleeping at 4, I'm still like feeling dizzy at 8 o'clock. So yeah, you still have to like push your dream. You will have to work hard for it. Okay, something that requires a lot of work, and if you make it work, you can quit your job, right? You can quit your work, but it's not gonna be easy. Trust me, folks, it's not easy at all. So a lot of choppiness, a lot of relative equal highs. So me, folks, I'm predicting the 2 o'clock delivery towards buy side. We still have this fair value gap unfilled from the 4-hour chart. So if I mark it like this, you guys can see it's coming right here. So if I put the standard deviation projection, this is where the change of delivery happened at this leg, right? So if I'm putting it like this, what the hell? If I'm putting it like this, from this high to this low and projecting the standard deviation, where is it? Where's my projection? The -2 standard deviation, which is very good for reversal, is coming down here, right? -1.5 price showed a very good rejection from here. So I would like to see price hitting this -2 standard deviation. So that's how you get precision. I'm not just looking at this 4-hour fair value gap and expecting to see price getting reversed from here. I'm dropping down to lower time frame, then I'm looking for a setup. I'm looking for precision from the lower time frame, right? I projected the price using standard deviation projection, and the -2 standard deviation, we know that is a very good level for a reversal. It's coming right inside this 4-hour unfilled fair value gap. So I'll be watching this. I'm expecting to see price deliver here. So do you guys see what's happening today? Price is not retesting any fair value gap when it's going below a breaker, right? We have a breaker here, higher high, new higher high, then another again higher high, multiple stop hunts. This I will consider it as a breaker. We have a fair value gap. Did price retested this fair value gap? It didn't, right? It just left it unfilled. We had another fair value gap right here somewhere. I don't remember, but I told you guys that price didn't retested this fair value gap. So that's what happening today. -2 standard deviation. I want to see price deliver right here, coming down inside this fair value gap from the 4-hour chart. HYDRA, when you are a ICT student, since it was a paid group, I'm not, Pablo. I'm not a student since he was like doing paid membership, but I have all his courses, everything, like from the forum till the things that he taught in his core, inner circle private group. Implying breaker block in synthetics indexes, and it works on every pair. To me, what I figured out, it doesn't work on stocks like Tesla, then Amazon, stocks like that. Other than that, in every other chart you will see breaker delivering nice. It's really not easy, bro. It's not. But when you finally quit your job, live for that dream, okay? Like one day you will be staying home like me and you will be doing your own thing. So that day is not far if you believe in yourself. It may be after 1 or 2 years, 3 years, but it's there. So true, bro. This is the hardest profession. Yeah, hardest profession to get successful. I was in the same situation, worked full-time in construction, started at 6 a.m., worked 10-hour days, and was still learning to trade and placing trades at work to be full-time trader now. Yes, Mark, that's something that I did. Like my friends at work, they never talk about money. So what I did, like, avoid talking with them at all. So to some of you, it may be like sound arrogant, but it's not, okay? If you want to be successful, you have to get out of these people. You have to let those people go from your life. If you are with them, they will never talk about trading, okay? If you are talking about trading with them, they will be like, okay, when you make money, tell me, bro, okay? So what's the point of this? So don't talk with your like workmates about about trading. Rather do it personally. Do it alone. Live for your dream alone. There's no one to support you. Don't expect support from your parents, girlfriend, no one. It's your own. It's your dream, and you have to make it true. No one will support you. Even your best friend, I did share it with my best friend, no one showed any interest like to learn trading with me. Rather, when they saw me like making money from it, they were like, okay bro, tell me how to make money from it. I was like, you can learn from the way I learned. And they were like, nah, you cannot give me signal. So that's what they always will be. Okay, that's what they always will say. So don't rely on them, do your best on your own, and you shall find success, right? NQSMT, I will not consider any SMT right now, because so that's the level that I told you guys. That's a very good level for reversal, because we have our 4-hour unfilled fair value gap. Then we have this negative 2 standard deviation from this projection, right? So let's see if price still want to continue lower, or it just want to trade here. We are getting inside of our next macro. We are inside of silver bullet, by the way. So at silver bullet, we expect to see what? Price hitting a fair value gap, then expanding higher, right? The same thing happening here. We have a fair value gap here. We have our lower time frame standard deviation reversal zone, negative 2 standard deviation. And we are getting inside our next macro, 1020 to 1040, inside silver bullet. So from the higher time frame chart to the lower time frame, we are building a narrative, and that's what we are doing, right? And I would like to see a breaker forming here. If not, then I would like to see this inversion getting failed. Sorry, this fair value gap is not an inversion yet, it's a fair value gap, and I would like to see this getting failed. What do I mean by getting failed? Price can do a couple of things here. Price can generate a high, right? Then come down, do a stop hunt, go below this low, then go above, retest this breaker, and then go higher. So this is one form. There's another. Price can make a low here, right? It can do a little bit of choppiness here, then going below this low. As soon as price goes below this low, not below this low, it has a breaker here. So I will expect to see price coming up, hitting this breaker, and expanding higher. So a couple of scenarios. So if you are interested to know like all the possible scenarios that price can do when it's inside a fair value gap, when it's inside a breaker, I have a bootcamp that's going on, 3-day bootcamp. I'll be sharing 3 models: breaker, inversion, turtle soup, 3-day, 3 model live sessions, the 4 to 5 hours. And I'll be sharing everything, every possible way that a market can deliver from a breaker, every possible way that market can deliver when it's inside an inversion. And even inside those things, like there will be a high probability setup, there will be setup that you should be avoiding, there will be setup that will tell you what to expect from price before and after. When price is generating a setup, what to expect from price. When price generated a setup and getting support from it or resistance, what to expect next. So everything to the tick with precision I'll share. So the second scenario is happening here, right? Price, I want to see price generating a low, then going below this low, then using the up close candle here as a breaker, then expanding higher. No one around you will put in the work, Mark. The way you have a vision to make it come true, like the way it won't be anyone else. No one will see your dream. They are going to work there and they're happy with your life. You and me, we are not happy with this life, right? So it's only you and me. Other people, they don't talk about money, they don't talk about how to get out of their job. They will be talking about, okay, how can I get a promotion? Oh my god, my promotion will take 2 years. Bro, if you are putting 2 years into trading, you might get a promotion in trading, right? That will help you quit your job. But you will do what? You will rather wait for 2 years, work your ass off. Even if you want to get a day off, you will have to email your manager, let them know, right? So it's a digital version of being slave. You're going for work, getting money to eat. So how is it different than being a slave? Every fucking job out there is just slavery to me. So price did not do what I wanted to see. Rather, it just hit this fair value gap, right? And more like this inversion, and now it expanding higher. Let's see if price retests this fair inversion right now. Now that this candle went above this fair value gap, I would like to see price retesting it as a inversion and expanding higher. Okay, wait, we have a relative equal low down here. Is it a SMT? Let me see. Is it a SMT? ES did what I was talking about. If you guys look at ES did the same thing. So yeah, looks like this relative equal low will remain intact, because I don't see it on Nasdaq and on ES. But I'll wait before projecting a setup. Let's see if price retests this fair value gap again. We have these relative equal lows down here. That's what I'm watching. What are the macro times that I've seen several variations from 920 to 940, 950 to 1010. There are many macros. And then when the bear market really kicks in and the economy dumps, they lay you off. No one will be laying me off. I'm not trading, so I'm in a safe zone. I know when to avoid my live trading. I know when to tape read. Do you know that, or you had the experience of like putting all your money in one direction of the market and then market is just reversing? Not even, I mean people who work for a living. Yeah, the same thing, Duke, right? So higher high, new higher high that hit this premium PDRA. We have this down close candle here, which is working like as a breaker. Can you confirm why the 4-hour breaker is classified as one? I can't see the higher high. Drop down to the lower time frame, 15 minute. I'm on 4-hour chart, right? We have a low here. So what the pattern? I will show you the pattern. I think you don't know about the pattern. So the pattern is something like this. For a bearish breaker, price will have to make a swing high, then go above the swing high, then price will have to close a candle's body below the last down close candle, then price will have to come up and retest this last down close candle and go lower. So that's a very good setup to me here. Price did an immediate rebalance here in this breaker. So what's happening on 4-hour chart, class at CT? So what's happening here is more like this pattern. Let me show it to you. Price generated a high, went below a previous low, did a stop hunt. Now price is going up. These last down close candles here, last up close candles here will be working as a breaker. So now align this with this 4-hour chart. We have a swing high. Drop down to lower time frame, you will see a swing high here. It's not visible on 4-hour. Then price went lower. At this candle, price cleared out the sell side liquidity from this low. So this becomes what? This following our pattern. Then price went above. At this candle, you can see the price went above, closed the candle's body above. This up close candle here becomes our breaker. So once you drop down to the lower time frame, you will see the up close candle. I can only see the down close on the 4-hour chart. That's why I'm marking this as a breaker. But on lower time frame, there's more to it inside this price action, and I'm just putting it into a higher time frame perspective. So that's what I'm doing. I hope it's clear. So I believe price will just do this choppiness here, folks. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like this is a price action that I avoid trading or even tape reading. Like look at here, I have no interest to tape read in this condition here. Okay, so what I'll be doing, I may come back before at 1:30, do another live stream. Okay, if I'm feeling good to do that with you all, and we can look for the setup that we can take in after the FOMC delivery at 220 to 240 macro, then 250 to 310 macro. We guys can do that, and until then I'm gonna be closing it here. Don't try to force anything here. If you are trading, if you want to trade, just tape read. Okay, that's the best thing that you can do in this price action. Look at that, like it's giving us signal everywhere, right? As a plus setup, we have a breaker here, price did a immediate rebalance. Now we expect to see price going lower, but is it doing that? No, it's just chopping around. We have a fair value gap, price should send it lower, but what price did? Price went even higher, right? So a lot of manipulation that's happening right now. So I'll tell you guys just to tape read. Okay, don't be like, okay, I'm the algo. So the moment you feel like you are the algo, that's it, that's the moment you will blow up a account. You are not the algo. Okay, so just tape read, and I hope to catch you guys tomorrow or at today at 1:30. I'll let you guys know in my Telegram group. So if you are not in my Telegram group, you can join it there. You will find the link in the description below. I'm also doing a bootcamp, so I hope to see some of you from my live stream there. I'll be talking a lot more about the setups that I use, the three models, my breaker, inversion, and turtle soup. A lot of the topics, 3-day for $80, I think is worth it. So if you guys want to see me talking about everything that I know about breaker, you guys can join my bootcamp, 3-day bootcamp, and you will find the links to join it in my in my Telegram group. And to join my Telegram group, the links will be in the description. That's it for today, folks. I hope you guys learned something from me, like how to be patient, how to recognize market when it will do choppiness like this, mostly before any high impact news, right? Price will continuously generate relative equal highs or liquidity, and it will not take it. Just like here, look how many times price did stop hunt towards sell side, and how many times it generated buy side liquidity as a form of relative equal highs. Relative equal highs here, 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 here. So at FOMC, I want to see price expanding higher, becoming bullish, clearing the buy side levels from here, here, here. If it's not already, then expanding higher. Okay, so overall I'm expecting to see a FOMC delivery towards bullishness. And with that saying, folks, I'm closing it here. Take care and peace.